Hello! Welcome to 2020. Seeing clearly. I know, it's terrible. I'm going to keep using it till someone laughs. It'll be all year. My name's Alec. This is the first New Comic Book Day book club of the new year. I designed a new logo. Let me know what you think in the comments, especially if you hate it. That's John. I'm going to learn how to do that this year.
I'm right here, buddy.
I did it. And for the first time joining us, we have Solgr and Fusha Only.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having
Happy
us.
to have you guys.
It took way too long to make this happen.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah, I agree.
Mastodon says, seriously, these two again? He's talking about me and John, not Fusha and Solgr.
Not these two.
Not those two. But
We got shout out the chat real quick, and then we'll jump right into the book. We got Chris. I got issues back with a vengeance for the year 2020. He's gonna be trolling us as long as he is here, I'm sure. Thank you for joining us. Needmo Comics is here. Craig69 says turd with a poop emoji. Thank you. We haven't even started yet. Already getting bad reviews. Stonecutter Cam says just finished reading. We'll see if you agree with what we have to say. Chris Barrett's in the chat. Tony Old Wolf 65 is here. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Poor Mike. Gonna catch the replay tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by to say hi. The Mastodon is here. Perry Comics lurking. I don't know if he's literally lurking, but he's lurking on us. Luis Ramirez is here. Oh, my thing just jumped. Comic Geek McD, what's up, buddy? Z Collects. Stacy's Fat Stacks. Patrick Wall is here. John's Comics with Kids, what a joke. And Glitter and Duct Tape. Thank you all for joining us. And so this week we're talking about not a first issue, but sort of a first issue. It's the new issue of Batman, which is number 86, which for those of you who don't follow Batman or DC, you'd say, why are we reading issue 86 of a book? Because it's the transition from the Tom King run to the James Tynion IV run with art by Tony Daniel. For those of you who don't follow DC super closely, Tom King originally was going to do 100 issues of Batman, and due to some issues behind the scenes or some poor sales or some bad reception of the book, DC decided to cut him short and let him do his side story, which is going to be Batman and Catwoman, which is coming out shortly, to finish up his story and to try to boost sales back up. They released this new James Tynion run to try to be like, hey, we're reinvigorating Batman from the thing everybody hated that Tom King wrote. So, did it work?
Yeah, Soldier and Fusha, have you had you read much of the Tom King run yourselves? I know that Fusha, big Catwoman fan. I was kind of doing a little bit of King and Joel Jones kind of at the same time towards the end there.
I see. I power read the 65 to 84, like an hour before the show.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it was as bad as everybody says it was with Tom King. I thought it was decent, but like.
Yeah, and you're reading the Joel Jones main Catwoman, right?
Oh yeah, I love what's going on with Joel Jones and Catwoman. That's been really good.
And,
when she's drawing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even better when she's drawing it.
Even better when
Yes.
Joel Jones, is doing the art.
I did pick that up today just upon reading it after the show.
I love her covers. So good. This one is absolute drip. Too cool.
Yeah, she's such an awesome artist.
Yeah, but I just barely caught up on the Tom King one. So
yeah, because I mean, I've been reading it since we started collecting again a couple years ago. I think the first issue was, I don't know, 30 maybe. So pretty much from there, we've gone back and bought 1 through the the beginning of the run, but I haven't read those yet. So we've only been on since around issue 30 or so, and for the most part, I mean, I've liked it. It has its ups and downs.
Yeah, sure, peaks and valleys for sure.
Yeah. Right after the wedding, is when it seemed like a lot of the kind of hate for his run started.
But
I agree. Like, I didn't really like it right there, right after the wedding. I came really close to even dropping it. And
yeah, I was about to say I do understand why the sales went down though.
Sure,
Like,
it was a real bait and switch.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
If they hadn't made such a huge deal about it, I think people wouldn't have cared so much. But they released like wedding invitations and did all this whole thing.
exactly. They went over the top.
Exactly.
Two quick things I do want to say really quickly. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, because we've been off for a few weeks, show's not for kids, which I know is like a thing we're supposed to have to say now that YouTube is blah, blah, blah. So yeah, not for kids, even though it's about comic books. Comic books aren't necessarily for kids, YouTube, so not for kids. And two, this is a full spoiler show, so if you don't want spoilers, read the book first. Because Comic Geek McD asked, where'd it go? I lost it. Here it is. Does this mean that the Pennyworth thing is gone, like clean slate, or is he still in this with a new writer? Yeah, this is not a reimagining. This is still in continuity, so Alfred is still dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, still picking up right where it left off.
And kind of like a big point of the story.
Yeah, yeah, and like I was saying, like I had to read like 5 issues before even reading 86 tonight, so I had to even finish the King run.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't even finish the King run. I gave up on it back in the 60s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when rock and roll was real.
Yeah, I was gonna say not the 1960s.
Yeah, in the 60 to 69 range.
Yeah, that's when it was tough for sure. Yeah, it was tough to get through that part.
So
it was just a bit.
And but I don't like. Obviously, I knew about Alfred. I knew because like, how could you not? So it didn't really seem like I missed a whole lot. I mean, I feel like Tinian kind of tried to write this for new readers to not miss out on a whole lot.
Yeah, I will say my first reaction was it felt really light on story, like it was just kind of quick, like rushed through.
But it was also go ahead.
And that I, as much as I loved the way that that they draw Batman in this, Tony Daniel nails Batman in this.
He's my favorite Batman artist. I'm so glad he's back on Interior.
He just doesn't nail Selena Kyle.
Let me show.
Selena Kyle drawings are weird.
So here's the one that I'm sure you're talking about. Yes. It looks super stiff and terrible and awful. And honestly, there's a drawing of Catwoman here too.
When he draws Batman, I lean in. I'm like, yes, that's so cool. It reminds me of almost like a Jim Lee kind of thing.
Here it is. Right. And here is a drawing of Catwoman, which is super awkward again. And I hate that costume. Is that what she looks like in Catwoman too, or is that just how
Joelle Jones is? I don't know who designed it, but that's the one that is in all of her stories.
Ooh,
although not the hood. Like she just usually wears the goggles.
Yeah.
That like thing that she's got over her shoulders that like comes down over her boobs.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. That looks terrible.
My daughters call it the armpit windows.
It really is. Yeah, it's not quite my favorite suit of hers, but the throwback to the dress, that one, I like a lot. But
yeah, for the most part, Joelle has designed some awesome like dresses and suits for her, and
Joelle draws the dresses, that suit itself, a lot better than what it's shown.
Yeah, so it's really weird that because then you get panels like this from Tony Daniel, which are like absolute killers.
Yeah, that page. Oh wow.
So it's weird that it was like really up and down. Like I actually at one point went back and looked at the credits page to see if there were multiple artists on this. Like they can't be the same guy.
So there's strong suits and weak points. Like
yeah,
he's better at drawing Batman than he is Catwoman for sure. That should be left to George Jones.
People immediately in the chat were asking, did this idea work of switching creative teams for you guys? Did it work as like a pushing, restart? Did it reinvigorate, put a new lifeblood into the series? Was it
Well,
I know it's only one issue in, so it might be
Yeah.
unfair to say, but
yeah,
like,
that's kind of what I was going to lead with. Is like obviously it's a little too soon to tell, and like John was saying, I agree too. It was light on story. It was kind of, like you were saying, it definitely felt like it catered to someone who had probably jumped off of Batman at one point, because you definitely didn't really need to be like right up like finish Tom King's run to get into it, but I definitely have hopes for it. Like I do like how they introduced kind of some new elements, like this new I think they called it like a bat plane or something at the end. So kind of like
I was actually going to point this out because I think it sounds like a G.I. Joe villain. It's called the Night Climber.
Yeah. Night Climber. Okay.
Like it's cool looking, but like, what are you, 8 Batman? Why are you calling your vehicle a Night Climber?
I'm
I know,
just
it does
curious about what damage does it do to every building he goes up?
Yeah, he's like, I'm trying to rebuild Gotham City.
And this tears it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, the story, as for what it is Batman starts with this narration of him, which I thought at first was like him as a child, because he's talking about like doodling Gotham City in his own image, but nope, it's just him as Batman when he's bored, I guess, just drawing what he wants Gotham to look like, and talking about how Alfred's like, oh, you should make that because you're Bruce Wayne. So then there's this fundraiser for this new Gotham idea that Selina is at, wanting to steal jewels because Bruce left her there to go fight Deathstroke and a bunch of villains who are there for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that was from the previous issues. And then Lucius Fox designed this Night Climber thing that, oh, I don't know if it'll fly. You have to take it on faith that it's going to fly. And then he fights all of them. He beats up Deathstroke. Calls Lucius Alfred by mistake because, and then flies away, and then there's a thing with the Joker at the end. That's like the whole issue. And honestly, like, I'm a Tom King fan as a writer. I didn't love his work on Batman. I didn't think it was his best work, but I also didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people made it out to be, and a lot of the backlash for what caused him to get off the title. Issues confirms no Alec the Killer is gathering a new story. Has nothing to do with the King Run. Okay. So having said that, I think that this, like in a vacuum, is a fine issue of Batman. Because of that, this made me like pretty angry, because if you're going to kick off a creative team that was supposed to do 100 issues and he had this idea for this whole storyline, and you say, well, sales aren't good enough, we got to do something to put something back into the title, and then this is what you give us, it's insulting to him and us. This was just not good. And I like James Tynion. Like, I think he's a good writer, but this was not it. This was not good. So, like, what is DC doing that they're like, yes, this is what we're going to give you that's going to bring all the Batman fans back? Because it's not. It's not good.
Yeah, I agree. For the first issue on a all new creative team, yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I agree. I would think it definitely should be more.
You could definitely tell the difference in the writing, though, from King.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
it's the pace of it all, though, too.
But like, I've been a reader of Batman off and on, but more on than off for ever, as long as I've been reading comics. And I did drop it from my sub, like I said, about 20 issues ago. So this is the book that is supposed to get me to subscribe back to it. And absolutely I am not.
Yes, I agree too, because like I said, I was about to drop it, pretty much around the same time that you did. But it was kind of just like a more like completionist kind of thing, like it was almost more of like an OCD thing, kind kind of, kept me getting it. But I'm kind of glad that I did, because some of those Last King issues that I read, I did think were a lot better than Right After the Wedding, and it, like I said, for the most part, the King run as a whole, like, it's a lot of peaks and valleys, like we said, but
I mean, it's hard to write 100 issues of anything and have every issue just be knock it out of the park, right?
yeah, exactly.
There's going to be some filler ones where the story's slow, or you just like you even get that in TV shows and movies, like slow pace, and then it picks up, and
right.
Like,
TJ says, "I love this show. It's consistent."
Yeah, consistently average. Consistently, the consistently best part about our show is our guests.
Yes, we're working on that. We're becoming more consistent in 2020.
Right.
Oh, yeah. When Alec texted me earlier today, he's like, "What did you just think?" Like quickly, I was like, I basically said it was straight average.
Yeah, I was like, I know we usually don't talk about this before the show, but I'm ready to really dunk on this, so I want to make sure you didn't love it, so I don't go too hard on it.
But my feeling was generally like it felt average to me. I love a good Deathstroke Batman fight issue, and I saw this variant cover, and I was like, people are like, "You gonna spend an extra $1 on that?" And I'm like, I love Deathstroke. This is the kind of Batman I want. Like,
but
him
it was
on
like
the
half a page of them fighting,
just tearing, and it ended up being such a short fight, and that was kind of frustrating. I wanted like legit, and it almost feels like they legitimately skipped the best parts, because you see them just starting to really fight, and then it cuts away and cuts back later, and Bruce's mask is all like torn off, and it's like pieces are messed up, and Slade is just laid out on the ground. Yeah, like, how did you beat him?
He's got a batarang in his bad eye.
Right? It's like, what happened here? So for me, it was a lot of peaks and valleys, just like the King run. It was not some huge new reinvention of Batman that just started a story arc I was super passionate or excited about. I felt like as good as the artwork drawing Batman was, it was mediocre on some of the other characters. So for me, it was definitely not enough to make me say, I'm going to be picking this up like every week again. 2 weeks again. Yeah. Which maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe it's hard for a comic dropping twice a month to really maintain quality story.
Tony asks, is the variant cover better than the story? A
lot of people said that they preferred the Daniel cover. I felt I
like the Daniel cover.
Going for the $1 more on the
variant. Man Andy asked, did Alec just say Batawang? I probably did. Thanks for pointing it out.
Right in his eye.
Right in his eye. Got a Batwang right in his eye. It's a crossover with Damned.
Deathstroke is not going to be happy.
No.
Don't want to wake up to that.
Yeah, because this series has always kind of been hanging, right there, barely. I've been so close to dropping it from the pool. So
the most of the Batman run that I've read was like within this last hour, because I'm mostly into the indies and Catwoman, and I'm reading Catwoman a lot more. But
yeah, because I was only giving you like, here, this one's good, you'll like this one, like just some of the like Batman and Catwoman stories, the ones that I knew that she would like.
So I'm still fresh.
But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I'll give it 3 issues if it's still just average by then.
Yeah, I normally would give something 3 issues, except for the fact that like this left such a bad taste in my mouth because of what I was just saying, that like I probably won't even do that, and like it'll probably make me look like a fool, because it'll probably come out to be really good, and then I'll be the jerk talking about it 6 months later saying Deceased is terrible and having only read 1 issue. But I stand by the fact that first issue is garbage.
Yeah, I haven't read any of that, but I keep hearing a lot of people love it.
Some people, I don't know, whatever.
It happens, because there's some stuff that I read, it'll leave a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, that's it, I'm done with that one. No more. And it won't even be something that's good, like prolonging. It's just it happened, and because of that, I can't keep reading it.
Yeah, and again, like that's why this was so surprising that this was so. It was average. I don't want to say it was terrible, because it wasn't. Like in a vacuum, it was average. But because it needed to be great, it was worse. Like it lost points for me because of the expectations Yeah, Comic Geek
Yeah, I agree.
McD says Deceased was awesome. TJ loved it. A lot of people love it. I know BLC was trying to collect every single variant for issue 1, which is like an entire short box,
Oh yeah.
which is a problem in and of itself. Not that he's trying to do it, but that there are that many.
Jabroni's taking a shot at Hickman's X-Men too. It's funny. He's like, it's average, just like X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there were a lot of hurdles for somebody like Tinian coming into this situation. I don't know how much time he had to craft a story to get his team together and make this kind of work. So there's definitely some hurdles, and I don't want to make it. I don't want to throw shade on a guy that, like, I'm enjoying his. I just bought the first 2 trades in the Justice League Dark, and I've been really enjoying that read from him. I know that I got issues with saying that he didn't like Tinian's original Batman run that he did before this.
Which I was just going to point out was that, like, Tinian has written Batman before, so he's a character that he should be at least somewhat familiar with.
And he's doing Detective Comics right now, as far as I'm remembering, right? Isn't he doing Detective Comics?
I think Tomasi is.
Tomasi,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Tinian, I was going to ask though, because I think Tinian did have a short little run there on Tech before Tomasi came on, I think. But yeah, he's definitely wrote Batman before for sure. And yeah, I mean, I have hopes, but I don't know. I have a feeling it might be the one we drop and then just keep Detective on. Because
that's what most people are doing.
Everyone, I haven't read Detective in a while, but everyone says that it's great.
I like Gore Vidal.
What's that?
Gore Vidal in the chat
said 4 perspectives in agreement.
One complaint you would never make about King is that his Batman was never uninteresting. There was always something different. Always, it could have been all over the place and whatever, but it was always something different.
But it was never like lukewarm. People were always usually passionate about one way or another.
Absolutely.
Just like Deceased, we got a lot of things up and down about Deceased. People saying, I like Deceased, I hated Deceased. It's certainly polarizing.
I mean,
Chris Barrett says, wait, is everyone agreeing with Alec to shit on a book? Yeah, I was like, 2020, it's going to be a new year. Still going to say something's a dumpster fire.
Your first month's a trial. It's a free trial.
You just got to ease into it.
Yeah. I mean, like, speaking of some of those last King issues, I thought 83 specific, if I remember right. I think 83 was the one. That one was kind of heartbreaking, and I thought that one was really good. I like that one, but
yeah, there's a number of issues that I love from the King run. We did an episode of Book Club on the Double Date issue, which is like quintessential Batman, Superman storytelling to me. I keep talking about the Swamp Thing issue being another one where it's just like, as a standalone issue, amazing issue. But then when you do like these big arcs, like, first of all, I don't care about Bane. I think he's just so boring.
There's a lot of villain.
What's that?
He's a luchador villain.
He's a luchador villain. It's like, be smart or diabolical. Pick one. I mean, be strong or diabolical. Like, you can't.
Scarecrow's
yeah,
better
my hair is buck wild. Thanks for noticing, Bear.
I've always
also
liked
doesn't help
Dollmaker.
that I had a hat on for the last show.
I need to use him more.
Yeah, Dollmaker is creepy.
Yeah, Dollmaker. I've always liked him a lot. Like, especially back in the New 52.
And speaking of villains, correct me if I'm wrong, but this dude's new, right? This TP guy?
Yeah, I think there's a few. I think a few of those characters are new. I don't know very many of them.
It seemed like, I thought when this was on page 3, they showed this new guy who, like, they had a turnaround reveal. I was like, ooh, villain reveal, not on the last page. Great. Here's what the issue is going to be about. And then the next page, it's like, nope. Wait, what? And this guy never shows up again. It's just about Deathstroke. Like, that's no way to introduce a new villain. Just have one panel where all he does is grunt.
I don't know those other characters too. The woman and the Captain America ripoff guy.
Yeah, the guy with the flag around his face. So that was weird. Did you guys think that was weird?
I thought it would be important, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that. I mean, like a lot of this issue was kind of, I guess, like subliminal storytelling. Like how you could tell like plans are in motion, but it's like it's not showing a lot of the cards yet or something. And like we were saying, maybe that's like kind of a poor way of going about it, to where it's a new number. It's not a new number one, but a new issue of a new creative team, to where it feels like it's more like issue 3 of a story arc, like middle of the road, like middle of a arc kind of thing, instead of the beginning.
I guess she says it's Cheshire, but they call him Mr. Teeth in here.
I think she is called Cheshire,
yeah,
or the other guy.
Yeah.
She's Cheshire. Yeah. Oh, right. And then he's Merlin.
Yeah. I've never heard of them before. So,
but I think
he should
Gunsmith
be implying that Cheshire's been around for a while. He's like, come on, man, it's Cheshire. Don't you know?
Those first two characters have been. It was Gunsmith and Mr. Teeth that I wasn't familiar with. I think they're new. Gunsmith is the American flag face.
It's on the jabroni scale.
So yeah, I just thought that was kind of a weird choice to be like on page 3, like, oh, here's this new creepy looking villain, but he's not really. Not only is he not the villain in this issue, he's clearly not going to be the villain in the upcoming issues, because that's going to be about Joker.
Which I would say was one of the things that made me feel like this was an average comic. I was like, sweet, they're not starting with Joker, they're starting with Deathstroke. Like, we're going to get some new villains. This could be kind of fun. But it was like, no, we're going to rush through and give you a little bit of those guys and then get rid of them, and we're going to bring you the Joker. And I was like, come on.
Which, like, if this is a bridge issue, that's fine. But, like, it wasn't a good bridge issue. It felt like a setup issue.
Yeah, it did.
Like, I think you could have told like a really great one-issue Batman story where he fought Deathstroke
and had an epic battle instead of a missing the scenes like too long.
Yeah, and left out the setup stuff, or like hinted at, or like, here's an idea. Ready? I'm gonna make this issue better right now. The issue is him fighting Deathstroke on the roof of this hospital, and over it is the narration of him talking about wanting to build a better Gotham. So you get the setup for where he wants to go, and you get him with an awesome fight for 20-something pages against Deathstroke.
And then it ends with Deathstroke limping away to talk to these new villain reveals at the end, right?
No, God, no. All right, maybe that isn't necessarily better, but it's at least like something that I would have been like, okay, that was an interesting issue.
No, yeah, I agree. That definitely could have made it better for sure. I mean, because the start of that fight with Deathstroke started so good too, and then like John said, you flip the page and
it's all over.
Okay.
Corbin Al King wrote a brilliant annual. Selena, yeah, it's Batman Annual 2. It's one of the best issues of anything recently. It is definitely wonderfully painful. Batman has like Alzheimer's from, I assume, from all the blows to the head, and he kind of like can't remember what's going on, and it's
TBI is real.
Yeah. So, super good. But as far as I know, it's in continuity, so they get married sometime.
I was going to actually ask, of the group of us, how many of us believe that they're actually going to and at some point in the next year probably go through with the wedding? Because I really do believe those characters will get married this year.
I think so.
I assume it's going to happen in Batman and Catwoman.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm under the impression that him moving over to that is where he's kind of finishing what he started on the Batman run. Yeah. And I have hopes that they finally do. So I think they will.
Well,
and again, honestly, like I think that the storytelling of why Batman or Bruce didn't go through with the wedding made sense for like his character. And if they just hadn't built it up so much and they had just told that story, it would have been like, oh, cool. But the fact that they're like, here comes the wedding, the Batman wedding, blah, 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 get ready for it. There's a million variants, and here's invitation and all this stuff and posters and banner ads. And then it didn't happen. It felt like a bait and switch. But if they had just been like selling the issues and didn't make it. But of course, you want to make the money, so we got to make the money.
They should have gone without the hype, because it's like
Yeah.
even in the last few King run that I read, they're kind of I couldn't see it happening this year though with Catwoman and Batman, but it's some of the parts that she was in. I was thinking, oh well, I've read this in her current Catwoman's current series that I'm like, it just didn't quite match up. That, yeah, but with King being able to finish it, I can see Catwoman and Batman something happening
for sure. I mean, unless they want to say that Annual 2 is like an Elseworlds, they have to get married at some point, even if it's like. But they reference the fact that they've been married for a long time, if I remember correctly, too. So not like they had just gotten married later in life. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they were, the plan, I would assume, was that like if they didn't go through it, then they get a little time apart, then they come back stronger than ever, and so that was my assumption. I was not bothered, like you're saying, about that storyline at all, but like everyone, I agree that the buildup is what hurt it the most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I bet they made truckloads of money on it, so
bet they did. Yeah,
and that was their goal. So mission successful, but then everyone stopped buying Batman. So what? How did it even out? Yeah. No.
I don't really see myself reading more Batman. I'd probably just stick to Selina Kyle and
Me too.
Catwoman.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that Catwoman series has been really good.
As long as Jones is doing it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone of equal caliber.
Yeah. This one definitely fell short.
Yeah, just a little too average. Like I said, I'll probably give it a couple more, and if it, yeah.
Fell
That's
short,
normally
but like a hobbit tripping. Thank you. I'll be here all night.
Oh, good stuff.
Don't encourage me.
Yeah, don't.
I think the fit.
So I mean, normally I'm like the one who's, I think I'm a little more down on it than you guys, but I'm usually the one who's like dumping on a book and people are like, oh no, this was pretty good. But I feel like we're kind of all in agreement that like this just wasn't quite good enough.
And I was honestly surprised by some of the panels because I do like Tony Daniel. I think his covers have been great. He's been doing some really cool Batman covers. He does remind me of a Jim Lee, and he does some great interior art here, but it's just uneven. You get pages that you're like, whoa, what happened there? And then you get others where you're like that one that what do they call it, spread page where it's
the double splash.
Rain. So good.
So good. Like that was like the second page when you open up to and like, whoa, all right, this is gonna kick some ass. Then you turn like 2 pages later and it's that panel of Selina where you're just like,
oh my god, that panel
Woof.
of Selina made me like recoil a little bit.
It's like the most stiff drawing of a person I've seen in a comic.
They just slapped me in the face.
My thought process was that even Selina Kyle doesn't just, she don't look quite right.
I know.
Yeah.
I had to guess it too. I did too. Yeah.
It just
Well,
wasn't Selina Kyle I know.
Yeah. It seems like the splash pages or the bigger ones were the ones that he really nailed, because even the one with Deathstroke after the fight was a pretty good one too. But yeah, it seems like Selina and some of the smaller ones are like just the regular, because I think it's been kind of a little while since Tony Daniel's actually done full interiors. Like I'm trying to think last time I've even seen him.
yeah, I'd definitely have to look that up, but I think he's been doing covers for a while.
So maybe he was rushed a little bit, or I don't know.
I mean, they announced this long enough ago that I would think that they had time to do it. It wasn't like we got to have it out in 2 months. I feel like this was announced like sometime mid last year, right?
Yeah, because it was announced even before kind of like regular, like 3 month ahead
For sure.
solicitations and stuff. It was a lot longer than
It was
that.
before Baltimore, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you'd think that shouldn't have been the case.
Yeah.
Well,
Comic Source Explained said Drew and I thought she looked super in that panel too. I want to thank McD for staying up till 4:39 a.m. in Scotland to watch us.
I know he's a trooper. I don't know how he does it every night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to. I would be dead.
And I'm damn near a full-blown insomniac too.
But 439 is where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Mm.
Old Wolf says, but are we looking for Batman to be so overwhelming because King's Batman were so weak? We're expecting too much. Yeah, like, I feel like, though, the fact that the way DC did this, they set us up for expecting too much. They set us up to be like, we're changing the guards. This is going to be the Batman that you want. We know King's Batman wasn't what you wanted for 85 issues. Here's going to be your Batman again. These are going to be like the stories you want to read, and it just wasn't.
I kind of preferred the King run over this last issue. Like, even though it was kind of all over the place and like, you didn't exactly know what was going on, it still kind of had a little bit of consistency where it would, like, something that happened prior, you would see at the end result a couple issues later. So,
Yeah.
Gore asked another great question. Current Catwoman by Jones is the best I've read since Ed Brubaker wrote the series, for sure, with art by the incomparable Darwin Cook. It's unfortunate neither are writing Batman. I wonder, has a woman ever written Batman? I don't know the answer to that, but
There was a.
I think Jones, she at least drew some issues of Batman in the King run.
Well,
Yeah,
and I'll say the bigger frustration for me, the biggest frustration on Catwoman for me has been that she's not doing as much of the interior. She did the first, 5, 6, but even the issue I grabbed today, I was really hoping she had done more on the interiors. She does none of the interiors on this one. And the one before this, when I thought, okay, she's getting back in, she did only a few of the pages and split the work with another artist. And this new issue has 3 artists. I'm a little worried.
Writing and that's, to me, inexcusable. Writing and drawing is a lot of work. But 3 artists, like, get a single artist. Even if you're not going to have Jones doing interiors, like, get a single artist to draw a full issue. You can't do that? Come on. Give me a break.
Yeah, because they even had Mirka Andolfo, like, guest artist doing. She did, like, I think interiors on a couple issues, maybe.
I think she has. I usually do like Mirka Andolfo, but some of the stuff that she does, it's like the way she draws certain characters, I don't see that character that way. So it's kind of like hit or miss on whether, because I like most of her art, but some of it's still good. It's just not the way that I see that character.
Yeah,
it's a different version, but there should definitely be consistency where it's the same artist on the interiors.
Yeah, I always like that on runs.
You get the right facial expressions and emotions out of the characters when it's consistent.
For sure.
But yeah, I remember back when Jones did some of that interior work on Batman, I remember them kind of making a deal about it, that she was like one of the first women on a Batman run. So yeah,
which is like shocking because it's been around since the 30s.
Exactly. That's why I remember when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I was shocked by it.
Yeah, that's not great, DC. But I don't know how many women have been on Superman either. So
That's
just
true.
Laura.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for that.
Well, Wonder Woman too.
Well, yeah. I don't know, maybe Joel Jones Batman is what it would take.
I'd
I'd be
buy
so
that.
pumped on that.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I
I think she's like top tier artist for me.
She is, yeah. I always say that she's one of my favorite artists. Like, not even just like favorite female artists, but like favorite artists. Like,
Roxana Decatur.
I've always loved her work. Yeah,
by far.
Roxana Decatur stuff.
She was so nice at WonderCon too, talking to my girls and taking a picture with them. Like, she was as sweet as can be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
I feel like when I come to think of like a lot of the artists that I'm big fans of right now, a lot of them are females, like Stephanie Hans, obviously, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Becky Cloonan fan, too, which she doesn't do enough recently, but I like her work. A whole bunch.
I know. Yeah, I liked her Punisher run.
Yeah.
It was short, but yeah, it was.
Real good.
I liked that.
Cool. I think that's it, right? Unless you guys have anything else to add.
nothing. I don't think I can really think of.
Oh.
Well, I think you've got an unboxing, don't you,
Yeah,
bro?
I've got a PS to do after our discussion, but I didn't want to interrupt for that. You guys have anything you'd like to plug or anything that you want to shout out?
Just our
Saturday show, we're gonna have the boy who had 7
Awesome.
on
Nice.
Instagram spotlight. Or
our first one. So we're doing a
Or-
thing just for the foreseeable
community
future, I guess,
spotlight,
for
not
this year.
Instagram. My bad.
Yeah. Where for the first Saturday of every month, we'll have a member of the community on, kind of as like a spotlight community content creator for the month. We couldn't do it last week, so we're doing it this Saturday, and it's actually kind of fitting because it's actually it's 1 year since Married with Issues started too, so it's our kind of like year anniversary for the show too.
Very cool.
Yes.
And the link to their descriptions, as well as John's, I guess, he's finally creeping up to 1,000, are in the description. Unlike our last show where I lied about something being in the description, they're also actually in the description this time for this show. So go follow all of them.
And if you've not watched the Married with Issues show these two do on the weekends, it's one of my favorite shows. I usually catch it on the rewind because I'm out doing stuff on the weekends, but it's absolutely a great show. You guys would love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's all him. He got me into it. Like, yeah.
So we can blame him
Yes.
for getting you into this just overwhelmingly time-consuming hobby.
It's worth it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's
Obviously, we all love it.
But yeah, a lot more time goes into it than you would think.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
From like going digging to shops to reading stuff to watching YouTube to browsing eBay.
Stop motion Legos. It takes a lot of time, this whole thing.
Keep it thorough with a $10 super chat, first of the year, to my brother White Whale Comics, wishing you the best for 2020. Thanks for generosity for the great causes. Thank you. And I guess probably should have said this up front. Super chats on this show go to charity. So thank you for that, Thoro. We're sending it. I'm getting close to $100 worth of super chats. So once I get that $100, I get a check from Google or a deposit or whatever, and then actually be able to send the money off to some literacy campaigns. That was the plan all along that John and I had.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Once he gets to 1,000, he gets to. I guess he's not monetizing.
I'm not going to, but I thought of what I was going to do on the nights when I host. Is that I'll put my PayPal in the link in the description, and if you just need to tell me what accent I need to read the comment that you send along with your PayPal chat you send, and I'll keep my PayPal open, and I'll read. We'll do accents, Alec and I. We do impressions. Alec's solid.
Well, I do. And speaking of Keep It Thorough Comics, follow him up because I'm going to be on his never-ending auction this Saturday. By never-ending, I mean because it goes for like 6 hours. So I have piles of books here I'm looking to sell, and some of it is good. A lot of it's good. So, and Thor always has heat, and so does all of his other sellers. I'm sure you guys already all follow him anyway because his channel is great. Does a lot of great content other than auctions as well. So yeah, I'm gonna do this unboxing. I was gonna do like and you guys can stick around for this certainly, or if you got to go to bed, I understand.
No, we're good.
I got this Christmas gift from TJ a couple days ago, and I've not had time to open it. And he's been like, well, when are you gonna open it? When are you gonna open it? When are you gonna open it? Because he's maybe more excited than I am about it.
I haven't seen him in the chat much tonight.
He was in there earlier, so hopefully he's still there. But he insisted that he said, well, you got 2 hours of show tonight. You can open it tonight. I was like, well, I'd rather do a thing on its own to give it its, the everything it deserves. He's like, no, I want you to open it tonight, please. So I think he's just sick of waiting for me. So I'm going to open it. And see what we got.
Thanks for having us. I'm glad we could make it.
Yeah, for sure.
This worked perfectly. I knew we had at least a Catwoman fan and a Batman fan we could try to bring in to discuss this with us.
For sure.
And
Oh, and next week, for people wondering about next week. Next week,
I'm super excited about this.
We're going to do a old comic book day book club, so a throwback. I'm legitimately looking at next week and thinking I'm going to be buying 2 comics. That's it next week. It is just a epic fail for me next week. I think I'm getting the Question Black Label issue 2, and I'm going to get Valkyrie issue 7. And I couldn't find anything else I wanted next week.
I haven't even looked to see what's coming out yet next week.
Logically, I should be the one hosting this, but
this is true. But our guest will be Life with 2 YouTubers. We're going to get Sharon to talk comic books. She is always celebrating everybody else and showing up in their chat and letting her kids take the lead on her channel. And it's time for her to be able to just sit down and read a comic book on her own and talk with adults about it. I put it in quotes. Don't worry. Yeah, you could hear the air quotes.
That'll be awesome.
Life with 2 YouTubers. Sharon will be with us, and we're going to be reading Strangers in Paradise, classic Terry Moore. We're going to be reading the trade I Dream of You.
I Dream of You, which is technically the second trade. So the first miniseries is 3 issues, but like I feel like the series really kicks off with I Dream of You, which is the second series or the first ongoing, even though it's not really ongoing. And all you really need to know from the first miniseries is that Kachu is a badass, and Francine is dating this guy named Freddie, and he cheats on her, and she dumps him. Like, that's pretty much all the setup you need. So
I haven't read much of that, but there was a free comic book day with Strangers in Paradise that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
that's the only one I've read of it.
Mm-hmm.
Super good. There's my.
I'll have to look into it.
My issue number 1 of the miniseries. And I can show off how many different trades of I Dream of You I have next week.
Ooh.
Take a guess how many it is. You have a week to figure it out.
Oh my goodness.
And Gorvidel says, whenever I read Terry Moore, I smile, except when you're crying. So, interestingly, this package did not come from TJ. I mean, it's not mailed by TJ.
From an eBay seller?
No. It came from Thanatos.
Oh, so maybe he bought a book from Matt and then...
I think that's what's going on here.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I know that's what's going on here. He's more or less told me.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the trade for Sharon and myself, so we'll each get one.
Yes.
All right, there's a lot of bubble wrap.
I can see
I'm not trying not to look at it, but it's in a mailer. So
look like Matt Murdock trying to read.
Nothing like some ASMR tape noises.
Oh, goodness gracious. I love it here.
And,
Comics on the Mindset of Valkyrie is epic.
It is.
It is. And
Old Wolf asks, is it a Green Lantern?
Right.
I don't think so. I don't think
that was my first thought too.
I don't think
I got a nice Green Lantern key coming to my house this week.
Make sure I'm looking at the back of this. Okay.
And that huge key slab that I bought last week it went from North Carolina to LA. I was tracking it, and then it went to Washington D.C. and now it's back in North Carolina. So I don't know what happened, but the closest it got to me was about an hour and a half away up in Los Angeles.
Weather?
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe it got denied delivery or something.
It didn't even get to my county, so I don't know what's going on.
So knowing TJ, this is going to be absurd and like way too much and over the top. It is a slab, of course.
Yeah, it almost goes without saying.
Yeah.
Which I'll be sending my book from Kabi for my first slab.
Oh yeah.
2020.
That was ridiculous. That show was epic.
Right.
All right. I've unearthed it. Okay. Ready? I'll only take it out of the bag. I'm gonna make myself big, I guess, right?
What is
Okay, ready? 1,
No, I'm
2,
not
3. Oh, stop it! Oh, stop it! So
Wow.
this is on my wish list. I've already apologized for it being a pervy cover, but it's a Lucio Perillo, super hard to find Vampirella issue, and
Beautiful.
don't go looking up this grade because that is absurd. I hope Thanatos gave you a super deal on this because that is that's buck wild, man.
I didn't even see the grade. Sorry, what? There's a grade?
It's a 9.8, yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't even see the grade.
That is
It
gorgeous.
is beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah, Perillo's like one of my favorite like cover artists right now, and the Vampirella stuff he's been doing is so good.
Yeah. I've actually been buying what are words right now? Different artist covers that have been coming out because I've really been enjoying them, but I can't remember their name right now because this is
like different artists on Vampirella, or just like
different Vampirella artists. He does like really kind of soft.
There was a Vampirella cover that was kind of like the
Portraits.
Superman one, where she's like taking off the shirt and she just has like the tie.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember who did that one, but that one's on the hunt to find.
Terry Dodson did a recent one that I liked.
Yeah.
Gilliam March has done some, but I think I know the ones you're thinking of too, because
That is so
there's
awesome.
been some killer ones on like the regular Vampirella series, and then the Vengeance of Vampirella series. Yeah.
Yep. And the Robert Hack variants for Red Sonja and Vampirella Meet Betty and Veronica have been killer too. Mind you, I don't read any of these books. I don't think anybody does. These are for the covers, right?
That's why they're perfect for slamming.
Yeah.
I think there's like 3 or 4 Perillo ones that I've seen that are just as stunning. They're just.
I have another one where she's kind of like looking. She's crouched over a mirror, which is another pretty sexy one. So yeah, that's 3 books already off my wish list. Which, by the way, I should give a shout out to. Where's that book? Hold on, stand by, please. I'm all flustered.
But I love those covers. Some of the Perillo did a Elvira one that was beautiful.
I remember seeing that one. Yeah.
So in love with Elvira.
Yeah.
This is what happened. Alec is so flustered by boobs. He can't handle it. He just can't handle it. He fell apart.
That's great.
There's another one where she's like laying on like a red like mattress, like red sheets. They're like all red around her. The work on the detail on the sheets is unreal.
Tony, Old 65, sent me this for a Christmas gift, which was also on my wish list. And Backseat Driver sent me the Uncanny X-Men Alpha Flight issue that.
Nice.
I
is that 129 or something?
121.
121.
So that's 3 books off my wish list already, and I haven't even bought any. That's ridiculous. You people need to stop sending me books.
TJ's finally in the chat again.
I mean, I appreciate it greatly. Obviously, it's all very kind and very overwhelming emotionally, and I don't really know how to handle it. But yeah, I mean, that's enough. Enjoy some, spread some love to some other people because I don't necessarily deserve all of that. So thank you, though. Thank you so much, Tony, and thank you, Backseat Driver, and thank you, TJ. Of course, as always, you're far too kind and far too generous, and she's a beaut, Clark. I know it's a little past Christmas time, but she's a beaut, Clark.
We're seeing that smile.
It is.
That's about as much as I smile.
Good stuff. That is so awesome. Congrats, man.
Thank you. I'm over the moon. I know you can't tell because I'm emotionless and cold, but
not true. It came across. It came across.
Okay. I'm better. I'm back to myself. I'll buy a drink over you for sure, man. Anytime.
What TJ says, it's just the beginning.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
TJ's got big plans for 2020.
I'm excited to see it.
Coming for all of us. By all of us, I mean at least myself and John. Yikes. Hey, thanks for joining us for the first book club of the year. Thanks to John. Thanks to Solgr and Fusha Only. You guys were a pleasure to hang out with. Thanks to TJ, and thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to everyone who hung out for greatest comic book show ever last hour on Comic Core channel. That was a buck wild time, as always. And sub everyone up. Happy New Year. Anything else? All right.
No, I think that's about it.
Now returning back to the ocean. Bye.